Hi everyone, it's Atuksha from Simple Crowdfunding, and today I have Justin Denno from Belfield Developments talking about the Sanford project that we raised funds for a while back. Justin, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Atuksha. Thanks for having me.
So the reason for having this conversation is really just so that you can talk about the current project and where it's at. Because I know that a lot of people have been asking in terms of how is it progressing. So we thought, and you wanted to sort of show everyone where you're at with the build, and we will talk about some of the challenges, what's happening from a sales standpoint and everything else. But I know you've got a short update, haven't you, that you're happy to run through?
Yeah.
So do you want to share your screen and do that first?
So yes, we'll start with this. This is a document we put together on a monthly basis, and it's a helpful document that our operations manager puts together, which we share with the sales team, so they're able to update potential purchases on the state of the development and what progress we've made. So I'll skim through it, but this is the state we are as of the end of April. So we started the scheme last year, middle of last year. We're due to complete in November. This is where we are. So other than plot 1, generally we're from plot 2 onwards is the least advanced up to plot 13, which is the most advanced. So it's a 13 plot scheme. And plots 1 to 10 are full open market properties, and 11, 12, and 13 are first homes. It's a type of discounted affordable housing. So this one, you can see the timber frame is up and it's felt and battened, ready for the slating. This is one of our 2 bungalows, and this is the least advanced in the sense it's just got the ground floor panels of the timber frame. And as we move forward, you can see the next plot scaffolding ready for the first floor panels. Then this is where the first floor panel is on. Plot 4, plot 5 has got the roof and felt and battened. You can see a bit of slating happening internally, installation, underfloor heating pipes and screens down. Moving on, we start with some windows appearing, and this is our second bungalow on the scheme, and we can see the slate roofing will complete on that one. This one back similar to the blue wrap is the timber frame, so masonry beginning on that block. And as soon as you go to this one now, we've got the masonry all up there, ready to receive the render on this particular plot. Very similar there. This is one of the ones with stones. We've got some lovely stonework on this plot. And internally, there's kitchen installed, walls and ceilings mist coated. So as we're progressing, there's some internal shots a bit later. Okay. So these are now on the first homes. These are all 3 first homes reserved. This has got the block work ready for render there. Internally, kitchen installed and protected. Very similar there. And then on the final one, you can see we've got second fix carpentry and second fix mechanical in there, just waiting for final finishes really. So that's the update there on site.
And they've progressed a lot, because then we had a site visit, didn't we, in April, I believe.
Beginning of March, actually, yeah.
Oh, and it's progressed a lot since then. It's quite remarkable how quickly all of the properties are just coming to life now, which is amazing. It's lovely to see. So I know
very good flow on site now. So there, as you can see, it's a fairly steady progression from least advanced to most advanced, and they're working through the site in that order.
Yeah, and then I know one of the things we talked about before were you have experienced some challenges, as every developer does. What were the core challenges that you face or are facing for this build?
Feels a lot of external factors. It feels like at the moment. So it's probably no surprise, but build cost inflation has been very high. So we have seen packages increase, and so the cost of the build has just gone up quite considerably. So that's quite tricky managing that. At the same time that we're hearing about lower consumer confidence and sales rates slowing. So it's one thing if build costs are rising and sales values are rising, which we had a couple of years ago. We could see them going up, whereas it's a bit nerve-wracking at the moment. And then to couple with that, interest rate rises as we're on a tracker mortgage. Development finance tracks the base rate, so we're seeing those increased costs both in the build and in the financing. I mean, thankfully here, I think because we've got a really great location in a lovely village, and the specification we've gone, although it's an expensive specification to put in, it does mean we've got a lot to tell people about. So we have upgraded the insulation, we've got mechanical ventilation with heat recovery, underfloor heating, some stonework there, we've got composite windows, we've got some loads of lovely things to be able to talk to people about, and hopefully that they will really be enthused about and get excited about. So we, thankfully we have a very strong interest in the scheme initially, and that's continued through. We've had reservations from the beginning, and we're now at a point where we're over 50% of the site is reserved, which, given that we don't finish till the end of November, we're really pleased with. Looking forward to welcoming those buyers that we've currently got into the development by the end of the year.
And that's wonderful, considering the site was still at a relatively early stage. So now that the properties are developing, potential buyers are able to see what they're going to be getting.
Yeah, definitely.
An end date, I suppose.
Exactly, it gets easier and easier to visualize as it goes forward. It is still difficult, as you see from the images. There's a lot of scaffolding around, there's a lot of piles of earth and blocks lying around, and so it is difficult to imagine it fully landscaped and finished and scaffolding down. But you can get a better sense now than you certainly could when you last came around in March, when a lot of those timber frames weren't up at all. But I think that will just be easier for people to be able to visualize as we get further on.
And over half reserved already. That's very, very impressive.
And we are. It is a. It does feel slower in terms of sales rates than it has been in the past. But yeah, we're very pleased with that.
That's very good. And what next? Because I know this project's due to, along with your other projects, they're due to finish towards the end of this year, aren't they? So what are you currently working on, sort of moving forwards?
We'd like, so we're on the hunt for, and we're looking at projects right now that could replace, once this one finishes, we can move on to. So at the end of this year, we'd like to have another 2 projects ready to go. And we would like to continue our journey, because we are on a journey of pushing the eco benefits of a building, and there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to process, and there's a lot of greenwash to wade through, and we're so keen to really truly understand what makes a house energy efficient, and not just to build a house in a normal way, stick some solar panels on and then claim it's an eco house, but really understand where are your heat losses and cold bridging design, so you make sure you're not losing heat unnecessarily. The air tightness is really, really important, and not something that we spend a great deal of time talking about. I don't hear, but it is really important. So if you can have a really airtight house, but with the ventilation, the heat recovery, you're controlling that heat loss, or you retain the heat because you recover it as you ventilate. So you're making sure you ventilate very well. But because you control it, you're not losing the heat, and therefore you just don't need as much heat. So if you do have the solar panels, they're not, you're not having to use as much energy. So that's, for me, is what's really important, is understanding and being able to explain to people who we're selling these houses to why this is a good thing for them to have a house built to this specification. So we would like to continue that journey, and we've got our wish list of what we would love to do as a sort of full-blown eco house, but it is really expensive, and some technologies are still quite new, so that we're not seeing the price of everything come down, but it will in time, as air source heat pumps are very much more commonplace now, and so if you were putting them on 5 years ago, you would see that was more expensive than doing it today. And hopefully we'll see more of that happen, so we can just bring more and more of it and have clever buildings and comfortable buildings, healthy buildings. That's another thing we're keen on. So the healthy building materials is something we're still on that journey about understanding which materials we should, but more importantly shouldn't be using in a building to make the indoor air quality better for people. Because there are so many materials that are currently used in buildings, and they could be better. Yeah, don't feel any panic. It's not, but we could be doing better, and that's the more we understand, the more we educate and portray all this information, the better we'll end up housing being.
That'll be amazing. So we're looking forward to the next instalment. And what we'll do is we'll continue to provide updates as this project progresses and the houses get finished. In the meantime, if anyone does have any suitable sites, then I'm sure you'll be interested. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. We sort of operate within an hour of Exeter.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So we'll leave it for there. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And look out for the next update.
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.